Resurrection Fest TV.
There's no escaping the American attraction.
Segunda entrevista del día jueves y estoy con los, súper requeridos, súper esperados Anti-Fly with Pat and Justin. Guys, welcome to Viveiro again.
What's up? Yeah.
Welcome to Resurrection
It's so good
Fest
to be back.
again.
It's so good to be back. The last time we were here, we killed it. It was so much fun.
On that poster up there. See, zoom in on that. Make sure you see that.
It's true, he's there, he's right there.
It's the younger, better looking version of me.
It's only 2 years younger.
But I'm the smarter version of me, so fuck you, younger version of me. We're winning.
Much more quiet. That one doesn't say much.
Okay, so you never have rest.
No.
You never rest, you never
we
stop.
never
Why?
rest.
Why you do that?
Oh no, look, the show must go on. You know this phrase, the show must go on? Check it out, right now, I have 2 broken ribs.
Why you talk? What?
Yeah, and I'm gonna play tonight. And if you don't watch our set, fuck you, because I'm gonna be in pain.
Yeah, fuck you. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
What? How that happened? What happened to you?
We were playing football and he took me out. He took me down, broke my ribs.
Have you took revenge?
Nah, it was all in good fun.
Maybe on stage.
Maybe a
You
little
can do
bit.
that
Maybe a little
something.
bit of revenge when he's asleep.
Like, guys, you have to take care of yourself. So, when was this?
In Austria, what, a week ago? Yeah.
And you can you just, perform, move, or you're on drugs constantly and painkillers?
I'm on some painkillers. I'm having a good day.
Okay, let's talk about music.
Enough about me.
And your raves. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about American Fall.
Yeah.
It came out, and you said that there was this album just wrote by itself, or something like that.
Did I say that?
I don't know who said that, but
anything I
someone.
said.
Okay. Someone said that, and it was like, what does it mean that you write your music when you're on touring? For example, many bands do that.
No, we don't write when we're
what are you
touring.
trying to say with that?
We write when we're at home. We usually take a month and a half and just write. And we usually write about twice as many songs than are on the record. And then we refine the songs and we come down to the ones that actually make the record.
Okay, so why you made that statement that this album was written by itself?
Well, of course, I think that the events of today influence what you're thinking about. And because there's so much that's been happening, we have a neo-fascism in America. It's a slow-moving coup. It's normalizing fascism one small incremental step at a time. When you see that happening in your country, when you see the racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, when you see these things happening, of course you're inspired to think about certain things, and as a result of that, I think it does make it easier to write music. And from that, I think it would be accurate to say that the record, from witnessing those things, did help us to write the record. And in that way, I think the record probably wrote itself a little bit. But of course, there's still a lot of effort that goes into it.
Okay, well, this is bring me a good question. And you made all your lyrics are so strong. You criticize absolutely everything that you not agree or you're not happy with. And I don't know if you're familiar what's going on in Spain at the moment.
Yeah,
We got two hip hoppers that for saying that what they believe and they give their opinion about the crown, the politicians. They go to jail for 3 years and a half. One of them is in Belgium. He escaped now. So it's crazy. We are in 2018. We should be able to have an opinion and not being punished for that. So how is it in USA?
That statement assumes that people get more and more free over time. And that's not actually how it works. People get free and then they become less free and they become more free, and it goes back and forth. And the way that we keep that freedom becoming bigger and bigger is by people taking that power back. And when we let other people have that power, our freedom goes down. And then when we organize and take to the streets, we get those freedoms back. So it's never a situation that we can be like, oh, well, we were free last year, we're going to have more freedom the next year. That's not the way it works. We need to continuously always be fighting for freedom, for for all people, not just ourselves, not just the people who look like us, but the freedom of people who are very different from us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just assume that we're always going to have our freedoms, then you're very naive. And when you look at the people in power, especially with the rise of the right wing in the last couple of years, whether it's in Austria, Germany now, actually the original Nazi party is back in the German parliament. In Italy, in Poland, in Russia, in the United States, there are people who want power. And a lot of those people, they're not good people. And if we don't collectively organize continuously, then our freedoms will be taken away. Freedom is not something that is handed to you readily by people who want power. Because people who want power, they don't want to be criticized.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Donald Trump, for example. He doesn't want anybody to say anything bad about him. He's continuously attacking the press. The press just tell the truth about him, and he says, you know, that maybe that news organization should be shut down. I mean, that is a
perfect example.
Yeah, it's a perfect example, and to come from a president of what is supposedly a free democracy, that kind of statement, it's a very dangerous statement to call the press the enemy of the people.
Well, the feeling we have here in Spain about Donald Trump is like he's trying to separate people and put it against each other, like, you know, American people, like the fanatics of Trump, the anti-Trumps, and it's like a way to distract what he's doing on the back, and nobody's paying attention. Is that?
Two things. One is that's been a tactic by authoritarians since day one. You always find a separation, and the more you separate people, the more power you can gain. So that is one thing. And the other thing is the advent of the internet troll. I don't know whether you have internet trolls in Europe, but in the States, a troll will come in and make the argument so ridiculous that nobody pays attention anymore. Everybody gives up because the argument has become stupid, and that's what Trump does. And that separation of people into stupidity and rational people is also another way that he's able to amass more power. And if that's what the Spanish think that he's doing, then they are accurate.
No, I know what you just say. You know, it's a very old strategy, but for him, he's not trying to pretend or fake it. Is it just so obvious that he's doing that? You know what I mean?
He has unique ability. I've never seen anybody else in politics in my lifetime have the unique ability to lie and not have any connection to truth. There is no truth in his world. He will say anything. Where most rational people are like, I can't say that because I said the opposite of that yesterday. There's some type of consistency. Trump is uniquely powerful in his ability and talented to have no connection between one statement and the next. And through that, he is able to, been able to amass a lot of power.
Okay, there's a huge rumor right now that he's gonna be reelected, even that people doesn't want to. So my question is, because you're so involved with this and you really care about this, who could be the perfect president?
The opposition? Well, there is opposition out there. I think that there's a really good chance that Bernie Sanders will run for president again, and I think that he could do well. I think Elizabeth Warren is a person who, who stands for the right things, and it would be great to have a woman president in the United States. We're well overdue. There's a lot of people who say maybe Trump won't step down. Maybe even if Trump loses the election, he'll say it was rigged. You know, I mean, so there's a lot of opinions out there. It's kind of hard to know what to believe, but I think that he's very dangerous, and I think that when you look at American history, he's using issues that have traditionally been used for politicians to separate people to gain power. And one of the biggest issues is the issues of immigration, the way that he pushes this wall with Mexico, the way he talks about...
You think he's going to do it?
I have no idea. I'll tell you what, I think that people underestimate him because he sounds like an idiot, and he's not. And the things that he talks about doing sound ridiculous and impossible, but he keeps doing what he said he was going to do. He gave a massive tax break to the richest Americans. Most people thought that that would be impossible. He did it. He appointed one justice to our Supreme Court, and now it looks like he's going to do a second one. Most people thought that that would be impossible. He implemented this insane neo-fascist idea of separating children from their parents, literally kidnapping children and putting them in cages and deporting their parents. He said he would do that, and he did it. Most people have underestimated Donald Trump, thinking he could never do these things that he's proposing. He pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord. He pulled out of some other trade treaties that people thought he wouldn't, but he said that he was gonna do all these things. So I think it's time for people to stop underestimating him, and that we have to take him head on, and we have to talk about the things that he's done to hurt people.
So scary, though. I hear you talking now. It's so scary. It gives me chills, you know.
People should be fucking scared. I mean,
but what we can do here from Spain?
Well,
No much, you know.
We know that solidarity has no boundaries. We are all fighting against oppression, and it doesn't matter what boundary they put around us, whether it's a country line or a nationality. Those boundaries are irrelevant when it comes to solidarity. So when we say that we are going to stand up against these things, we're standing up against these things not just in the US, but we're standing up against them in Russia, we're standing up against them in Hungary and Austria as well. So those are things that we can actually do. When there's thousands of people in the streets in Washington, D.C., and there's thousands of people in the streets of Madrid, those two things do connect, and that power does translate and go back and forth.
Okay, well, maybe you should organize something.
Well, little by little, and what's great is that there are people organizing, and I do like, you're talking about political prisoners, and I do want to throw a plug out there for Amnesty International.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of your viewers will know Amnesty International, but many will not. And Amnesty International is an organization that fights to free political prisoners, and they're very effective at it. And if a lot of people come to us and they're like, hey, how do I get involved in activism? How do I get involved in making the world a better place? Well, one way you can do it is join Amnesty International. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's not going to take over your life, but they do ask a couple of small things from you. And
you can change your life.
Well, you can because the reason it works is coming back to what Pat was talking about. What they do is they take a huge number of people, and that collective number of people make it possible for Amnesty as an organization to be able to free people who are political prisoners. So if you are a person that's thought to myself like, oh, how can I get involved in making the world a better place? How can I make a change? I would say start with Amnesty International. It's a really great organization. I think it's a gateway to other activism.
Great message. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say to your Spanish fans, the ones that are not tonight? They're not going to see you tonight on the show. The ones that stay home for some reason. Is there anything you want to say to them?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, every time we come to Spain, it's amazing. We make all kinds of cool friends. It's great to come back to Resurrection Festival. First time we were here, it was great. And it's exciting to be back. I think that it's exciting to come and be around people when we're so far from home, and to see that there are people all over Europe and other parts of the world who care. Well, yeah, that's why I like becoming friends, and who care about the things that we care about. Yeah.
It's not just friends, it's allies in the struggle, it's allies in the battle. When you have an emotional connection with somebody, you're like, oh, that guy's just like me, or that girl's just like me, or that person's just like me. Then when that person is suffering oppression, you say, hey, I need to stand up for that person as well. And that's where the allies come in. It's friendship, yes, but it's also allies.
And when you come to a festival like this, what it does for you in the end, this is what it does for me every time I play a festival like this. I realize, like, on those days when everything's fucking shit and I feel like it's hopeless, I come here and I realize I'm not alone. and I realize that we do have a chance. So if you're sitting at home right now and you're watching this and you feel alone, you know what? You're not alone. There are people out there that care about you, and I think that for me, that's what music has given to me, is this idea that I'm not on my own, that there, you know, and if you reach out to people and you talk to people and you let people know that you feel alone or you're struggling in your personal life or you might be depressed or whatever it might be, when you reach out to people, you find out that people do care. And being in this kind of environment always just drives that message home for me.
Wow, love it, love it. Thank you guys so much. And well,
Good to be here.
this was Anti-Flag Shadia for Resurrection Festival 2018.
Peace out.
Woo!